Well, as we get the NASCAR cars lined up, I'm going to kill some time down here. Andrew Ranger, let's look at this fantastic crowd here tonight. You were the first one to test here when we did the test to see if these cars would even work at Ohsweken back when you were with DJ. What you think? We've working on our 4th race in 3 years. What's your feeling as you get ready to go from the outside pole?
First, it's a great crowd here. It's unbelievable to be back here, and it's fun to watch the dirt race. It's fantastic. The 27 car is fast, so we'll try our best, but it's always great to come back here in Ohsweken.
Maybe you had a quick look at the track. How different does it look right now than it has maybe last year or the year before?
At the track, it's much softer. You can see that last year it was very, very slippery. So the race line has got to be a little bit different, but I think the crowd will probably have a great show tonight, and we'll try to do my best.
Thank you, Andrew Ranger. Ladies and gentlemen, he'll go from the outside pole in car number 27 tonight.
Andrew Ranger has the fire back in his eyes. He has always been a world-class race car driver, as good as there has ever been in this series. He endured a couple of seasons of bad luck that was absolutely brutal. And when he won those 2 races this season, we are seeing a new Andrew Ranger. It's exciting for us as fans, Greg. It has to be fairly terrifying for his competition.
Winning is rejuvenating, is it not? We've seen that in the history of motorsports. You get off the schneid and break those droughts, or get to the point where you're winning multiple races, and that human element does play a factor. This sport is just as much mental as any other sport.
Oh, or more so.
Let's ask him. Kenny, how mental is this sport of racing? Kenny Schrader, last year's winner here.
It can be sometimes, but main thing when you're mental is just getting your car working. If the track's a lot different it is this year than it was last year. It's got a lot more grip to it, so it's going to be interesting to see, but it's always mental, just jacking with the guys.
Kenny, do you feel any extra advantage here because you do spend so much time racing in the years? You've definitely raced here more than anybody in this field.
No, it doesn't help none. We only run these cars one time a year. I'd rather run the cars more than run here more.
Right on, Kenny. Good luck tonight.
Thank you, Clint.
Going for his 2nd big race here at Ohsweken. Let's talk to Chase Briscoe, too, as he gets in here with Ken Schrader. Chase, welcome to Ohsweken. How about it for our guest driver, Chase Briscoe, everybody? Chase, your first time up here in a while. I know you were here with the trucks at CTMP a few years back. What's your thoughts here at Ohsweken, the Canadian crowd, how they've treated you, and what you're going to do going from the pole here tonight?
Yeah, the crowd's been awesome. I always tell everybody, every time I came and ran at CTMP, the fans are just awesome. They're so thankful that we're always up here racing. So wish we raced more up here, honestly. And this place has been really cool. It's a place that I've watched a ton of sprint car races at, but never been here in person. So really awesome facility. Obviously, Glenn and everything that you guys have done is really cool. So glad to finally see it in person. Obviously got the best starting spot, so hopefully we can keep it up here. It's been fun to race with these guys. Appreciate Renai and Mahindra Tractors and all the folks that let us come up here and do it. So, yeah, see if we can keep this thing up front.
Good luck tonight, Chase.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Chase Briscoe, car number 1, will roll from the pole tonight, everybody. We'll keep talking down here. Marc-Antoine Cameron, you had a heck of a season. The last couple of years you've been really fast. Do you feel you finally caught the handle on the Ohsweken clay here tonight?
Oh, definitely. It's way different that we used to run, but the GMPA is pretty good tonight. So we'll see what we can do with Chase. I know he's a really good dirt guy, but mainly it's to finish the race, try to get some good points for the championship.
Good luck tonight, Mark.
Thank you.
Marc-Antoine Cameron, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll get over here and talk to one more of our young stars. Kyle Steckley. Kyle, this was your first shot at the dirt in the 2nd race last year. Tonight, you're getting another shot at it. How do you feel tonight?
Yeah, this race is completely different than it was the last 2 years, so it's definitely a learning curve for everyone, I think, and, just adapting to the track. It's changing a lot here, so we're going to see how it goes, just get in line here and follow some of the veterans, get in behind Kenny, hopefully, and, just learn what I got to do and see how the track changes over 100 laps.
As a former crew chief for Stuart Friesen in this race a couple years ago, does that give you any type of advantage setting up the car, getting the adjustments ready?
Yeah, I think knowing the car is always an advantage, but everything that we learned the last 2 years kind of went out the window tonight. So, we're just going to keep working on this APC Auto Parts machine. I'm going to have to adjust inside the car and make the most of it.
Good luck tonight, Kyle.
Thank you.
Kyle Steckley, ladies and gentlemen, there's your top 4 starters for tonight's Freestone Dirt Classic. And we're almost ready for driver intros. We'll let Adam take it away whenever he's told he can do it.
I was having more fun watching Clint talk to everybody in the field. That was a good deal.
Well, it's good to hear what these drivers are thinking before they get ready to buckle in. And I'm sitting here thinking about the interview with Ken Schrader and how he's talking about how the track is different. And I think that is going to play into a different race tonight than we've ever seen before, because we knew coming into this race, the racetrack was slick. First 25 laps, second 25 laps. Mind your P's and Q's. Save it for the last 50. Tonight, it's going to be awful tempting to use this grabbing clay to make some moves you might not have done the previous 2 years.
Well, folks, have a look deep in the field. DJ Kennington, the 17, Kevin Lacroix in the 74. These are drivers who expect to be at the front, and they're not right now. They're going to make those moves early on. So it's going to be fun to watch. There's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot to keep up with.
This will be a track where expect to see plenty of cars wide, too. It won't be single file by any means. There's different grooves. We've seen it work down low. We saw Glenn Stiers hooked up on the outside during the qualifying heats. This is going to be an entertaining show here tonight, and it's the only time through the year where we get to see strategy. Our longest races throughout the season would be here on a Friday night. The Thunderstocks run 50 laps. That's our long event, and there's no breaks in those. But tonight, 100 laps, we don't get to see strategy races very often here at Ohsweken Speedway, Adam, and that adds a whole nother element that's fun to watch.
It is fun to watch, and it is time to meet the starting lineup for the Freestone Dirt Classic. Starting 19th from Oakville, Ontario, the Big Chief Snacks, E3 Spark Plugs, O'Neill Electric, Duma Dodge, number 84, Larry Jackson. On the outside of row 9, from Trois-Rivières, Quebec, the WeatherTech OmniFab Dodge, number 47, L.P. Dumoulin. Starting 17th from Grimsby, Ontario, the Glenn Stiers Racing Ohsweken Speedway Chantarelli Promotion Chevrolet, number 32, Caden Lapsevich. Starting 16th from Oka, Quebec, the Home Hardware Richelieu Ford, number 24, Thomas Neveu. 15th from Winnipeg, Manitoba, the Brimstone Games Castrol O'Neill Electric Dodge, number 99, Amber Balkan. 14th from Peterborough, Ontario, the Curb Records Strode's Barbecue Trailers by Jim Bray Ford, number 98, Brian Cathcart. 13th from St. Eustache, Quebec, the Gates Hydraulics Napa Racing Dodge, number 74, Kevin Lacroix. 12th from Stouffville, Ontario, the Asa Abloy Leland Industries Chevrolet, number 3, Jason Hathaway. 11th from St. Thomas, Ontario, the Super Clean Brimstone Games CIM Metals Dodge, number 17, DJ Kennington. Now, race fans, your top 10 on the outside of row number 5 from Ohsweken, Ontario, just over there in turn number 2. The Glenn Stiers Racing Ohsweken Speedway Chantarelli Promotion Chevrolet, number 0, Glenn Stiers. 9th from Hamilton, Ontario, the Hall Nor Mechanical Solo Performance Exhaust Luigi's Dodge, number 4, Trevor Monahan. Starting 8th from Milverton, Ontario, the APC Pennzoil Glenn Stiers Racing Stewart's Equipment Chevrolet number 22, Kyle Steckley. 7th from Ile Bizarre, Quebec, the Everum Bare Knuckles Fighting Championship Chevrolet number 29, Steve Cote. Starting 6th from Bracebridge, Ontario, the Sierra Excavating Bolton GM Chevrolet number 31, Daniel Bois. Starting 5th from Bois-Chatel, Quebec, the RPM Designs Volcane Chevrolet number 80, Donald Teege. Row 2 on the outside from Fenton, Missouri, the APC Pennzoil Federated Auto Parts Chevrolet number 52, Kenny Schrader. Starting 3rd from St. Leonard d'Aston, Quebec, the GM Paillet Chevrolet Canada number 96, Marc-Antoine Cameron. And now your front row on the outside of row number 1, from Roxton Pond, Quebec, the GM Paillet Chevrolet Canada number 27, Andrew Ranger. And your pole sitter from Mitchell, Indiana, the Renai Mahindra Tractors S3 Ford number 1, Chase Briscoe. Race fans, that is your starting lineup for tonight's Freestone Dirt Classic. Now these drivers going to strap themselves in for 100 laps of action here tonight. 25 laps, then there will be a yellow. Drivers will have the option to pit. If you pit, you give up your track position. Or you can stay on the track, Greg. Another 25 lap segment and another yellow. Drivers will have the option to pit or stay on the racetrack. And then a 50-lap run to the finish that makes up the 100-lap Freestone Dirt Classic.
And that is where you have all the different strategies play. And with a softer tire compound here tonight, you mentioned at the top of the show that they've got that to deal with. Ken Schrader talking about how this track a lot softer than it's been in the past. I don't think tire wear is going to be an issue, but changes can be an issue in this race. The track may change as it cools off. Moisture may come out of this track and change things. There's things that drivers that have been here for the first 3 races for the NASCAR Canada Series, maybe they've never seen before out of this track happen here tonight. That's the interesting part. And I'm looking forward to it because it is that break that could change everything. Or do you take that track position?
I firmly believe if any one of those top 4 drivers chose to pit, either on lap 25 or lap 50, they can work their way back to the front.
Tonight's a track that you could do that. Yeah, absolutely. Where we may not have seen that in the past. The last few years, it has been a premium on track position. And you can see those drivers getting buckled up and ready to go. And some of them probably don't know what to expect here in the next 100 laps.
No, most likely they don't. We don't know what to expect over the course of 100 laps. That's what we keep coming back for.
One guy that probably has the most laps, well, we know he has the most laps, is the guy that owns the track. How about Glenn? qualifying in the 10th spot, but it's not so much the way he qualified. It's the way he ran in the heat, the way he ran in practice. He just looked up on the wheel, and this is a track where he could have his best career finish in this series here tonight. He had it, or has his best finish so far here last year in this race. So I'm excited to see what Glenn can do in that GSR 0.
I am too, and Glenn Stiers is a showman.
Yeah.
That's part of his MO out there. And that's what he was doing in the heat race, was putting on a hell of a show, working up on the cushion.
So many good drivers, and one that kind of coming to mind that had such a good run in his first dirt appearance, that 22 of Kyle Steckley. He's just playing good in anything he races.
I mean, he's such a professional. For as young as he is a seasoned veteran. And I was just looking at don't look at those. There's been 5 races. So that information might not be as fresh as you're hoping for. See that? That's me looking out for you, Greg.
Thanks.
Clinton Jeffrey, take it away.
Well, it's electric down here at trackside as we get ready to go. Want to welcome our representatives from Freestone. Everybody here, Jen and the crew. Catherine's up there to throw the green flag. We are ready. How about a hand for our amazing sponsors that put this race on, everybody? Sitting Bull, Nitro 54. We appreciate everything they've done to put tonight on. Let's get ready for our invocation, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to do things a little bit different tonight and pray for one of our own. Miss Bella Thompson, otherwise known as Bella Brave. She has endured a long and difficult medical journey. She became part of our NASCAR family a year ago when she was invited to participate in opening ceremonies and give those great words to start your engine at Ohsweken Speedway. Well, tonight, she and her family are in Toronto at Sick Kids Hospital. She needs hope, she needs healing, she needs comfort, and her family, quite frankly, could use our prayers. So would you please pray with me in that same vigor that she offered us a year ago now. Our Heavenly Father, we do pray for Bella tonight, and we know that you are the source of healing, comfort, strength, and peace. God, be with her family, provide for her in every way that she needs, and God, we pray that ultimately you bring her hope, and her mom and dad, and her brother as well. God, we pray that they're with them now, their family, in Christ's name. Most of all, Lord, let them know that you love them more than anything. Amen.
I'm not sure Tom was ready for the fireworks during the invocation, but I think that added a little something, Clint.
All right, fans, if you're ready, we're going to turn it over. Help us count it down. Jen, it's all yours.
Drivers, start your engines!
The field roars to life on the front straightaway, and now you'll see the bodies start to disappear. Everybody in those fluorescent vests will head down to where they're going to shoot their photos from. TV crew will head to their perches. The Secret Service is going to take whoever they're taking away from Victory Lane. I didn't even see that big black SUV slide down there. Did you, Greg?
No, I didn't actually.
You still don't see it. Can you see it
right here?
Okay.
Yeah. It's the president. He's still lost. Wow.
Mike Charay with the yellow flag in hand. And the field taking shape behind the Speedway pace truck. I was impressed with Amber Balkan after not running any practice this afternoon. She got out there in the heat and passed some cars. She was really driving that car into the turns well. Amber Balkan behind the wheel of the Brimstone Games, number 99. Trevor Monahan, he's a one-man highlight reel. That all-white number 4, he's going to be easy to find all night long. There's not a lot of writing on that race car. His son has been racing here on Friday nights in the mini stocks.
We talked a lot about Trevor last year. He had a good solid run going and was a factor, not challenging for the lead, but definitely was up there in the top 10 and at times and having a good solid run in that 4. He's another one that could just sneak his way up there and be part of the storylines that we watch here tonight.
Looks like we're setting up for a 4-wide salute to the fans. Race fans, get up on your feet, grab your hat, grab your program, grab whatever's nearby. Give these drivers a wave. They're going to be waving back in 4-wide formation. Field going to get back to 2 wide. And 1 to go signal being given. We're going to go green out of turn number 4 next time by with the Freestone Dirt Classic. These cars look beautiful under the lights here at the Big O. Chase Briscoe in the number 1. Andrew Ranger in the 27 make up the front row. Heading into the Pinty start and restart zone, we are about to go green on the Freestone Dirt Classic.
Off they thunder down into corner number 1. Chase Briscoe jumps out to the lead. Here comes Cameron in behind him in tow. He'll take the second spot, put Ranger back to third. They're stacked up 3 wide behind him.
Kenny Schrader headed up to the high side of the racetrack. Daniel Bois following him. Everybody else, with the exception of Glenn Stiers, down low.
Wow, Cameron right into the left rear there of Briscoe. He's going to punt him out of the way, and here comes Cameron to the top spot.
Daniel Bois up off the racetrack, loses a handful of spots in turn number 2. They're side by side for the lead.
Got one around down in corner number 2. I think it's Amber Balkan is spun down there, and that will put us under the caution flag for the first time here in the Freestone Dirt Classic. Some damage, and you see one of those infield blocks on the wall pushed out of the way. So a fairly significant hit there to the right front of the Brimstone Games, number 99.
Now, these NASCAR Canada stock cars are pretty durable pieces. There's not a lot of aerodynamic. Looks like a waterfall out the front, but that's just the grate at the front of that car. She should be able to bring that into the pits. And that won't cause a big problem as long as the duct work to the radiator is good. Oh, we've got a call for 50-50 sellers. Make your way back to the home base. 50-50 sellers. Make your way back. They're going to tally up the money and get ready to do the draw.
Well, Marc-Antoine Cameron there in the early going. Got there to the inside of Chase Briscoe and got by him. fireworks on lap 1. Do we get one for all 100 laps?
I think we should. We deserve it. Gotta give a shout out to Kirk Hooker. Just got a message from Kirk. He's been battling cancer. I believe he's winning that battle. Been in London for treatments.
All the best, Kirk.
We're pulling for you.
Absolutely good family.
1 to go. The field's going to double up. Chase Briscoe, the race leader. They go back to the last completed lap. Marc-Antoine Cameron, there's certain drivers who, if they are near the front, they are going to make their presence felt. Yellow flag being displayed. Lights come back up on the pace vehicle.
Andrew Ranger was the loser of that start. Started on the outside of the front row, shuffled back to 4th. As on the drop of the green, Briscoe took off with Cameron in tow, and that outside line went backwards just a little bit.
Well, that's just it. It doesn't take much. You get up off the banking, and you've got to lift. All you can do is lift out of the throttle and ride it out until you get the car back under control. Chase Briscoe back to the point in that Renai number 1-4. Donald Teague there in the 3rd spot in that 80 machine, that beautiful RPM Designs number 80.
Back to the green, and Cameron gets a good restart. Edges ahead of Briscoe, heading down into corner number 1. They're door-to-door through 2.
The field doubled up all the way back. 3 wide where Glenn Stiers is working the high side in the 0 machine. Cameron up high, but he can't contend with Chase Briscoe. Briscoe to the lead.
Briscoe tied right down to the blocks, down in 1 and 2 with Teague on his back bumper. Cameron using that outside line in corner number 3. Ranger, he's working the bottom. Steckley now finds himself into the top 5. He's gotten by teammate Kenny Schrader.
Schrader's still up there working the high side. And Ken Schrader knows a little something about dirt racing. If he sees the whole field down on the inside of the racetrack, he knows the inside of the racetrack is going to go away. They're going to dry it out.
Slip back down this time in front of Kevin Lacroix as they work it off the corner. Briscoe's going to lead lap number 5 in the first stage of this event.
Andrew Ranger and Donald Teague door-to-door down the back straightaway. Ranger will squirt out in front of the 80. Teague will tuck in line behind him. Glenn Stiers still working the high side in that 0 machine, keeping the RPMs wound up.
That's where the action's at right now, though. We see Cameron gets into the 1 again. Up in front, that challenge for the lead.
These front bumpers aren't just for decoration, I can tell you that much. Briscoe keeping that car as straight as he possibly can on the bottom of the racetrack. Cameron keeping his car straight as well, straight into the back bumper of the 1.
Right behind that, Ranger in the 3rd spot. Steckley's worked his way up to 4th. I think Briscoe's finally said, here, take the line. Caution back out.
Might be debris in turn number 2, right in the middle of the racetrack.
Yeah, Adam, they were talking about it here to see what it would be. They weren't sure, then they determined it was metal. NASCAR had to throw the caution. It is a piece of sheet metal up there on the exit of turn number 2.
Under the second caution of this event on lap number 8.
Let's take a quick break. And when we come back, there'll be more from the Freestone Dirt Classic. Uh-oh. Problem for Chase Briscoe in that one car.
Left rear flat.
Left rear flat, guys. Brian Hallowell just came over our turn 3 official. Says something look wrong with the turn left rear there on the one, and sure enough, flat left rear for the pole sitter. What a horrible break, guys.
I don't know how that left rear went flat. Oh, wait, that was the part that Cameron was pushing on.
I was hoping that was sarcasm.
Briscoe will make his way to that pit crew led by Don Thompson Jr.
Now, Adam, how does this work? Will he get a courtesy lap? My chance to ask you about the rules for a change.
I'll tell you what, NASCAR has done this. I don't know what's in the rule book, Clinton, but I have watched when the yellow flags have been extended just a little bit. They've been working hard to support these race teams that support the series. So I believe we're going to see a courtesy lap given here, yellow flag being displayed. We're here to put on a show. They're here to put on a show.
Chase Briscoe's here to put on a show. Flew in this morning from Charlotte to be with us today. Got to fly out early in the morning to get ready for Pocono this weekend, so we appreciate Chase. I got to send a shout out to Jake Morris, his handler, who has been amazing to put this whole deal together. Even the Dave Jacobs team said Chase's crew, everyone at Stewart Haas Racing who helped them get the measurements for the seat have just been fantastic. It's great when we can bring in new partners like this, and Chase has been a class act all day.
He's been fun to watch for sure. 1 to go being given by Mike Charret. We'll watch up in turn number 3. Here comes Chase Briscoe in that one machine to come back on to the racing surface.
So now we'll see how fast that car is. He'll have to do some work to make his way through the field, but if you're going to have those problems, have them now. Still lots of racing still to go. Just 8 laps into this one. So now it's Steckley on the outside of Cameron. He's quietly worked his way to the front here in these first 8 laps.
Steadily marching that direction. Got a great view with Marc-Antoine Cameron just out the driver's window, bringing us back through the Pinty's restart zone. Green is out once again. A slow start for Cameron, but brings them up to speed on the front straightaway. And the whole field stays in formation.
Ranger to the inside of Steckley, who's on that outside line, trying to get by the leader Cameron as they come off the corner. Cameron, it's a couple of car lengths advantage this time.
Everybody fighting to get to the bottom of the racetrack, and I don't think that's a long-term solution, Greg.
No, it isn't. If everybody's down there, like you said earlier, it's going to go away. It's going to dry up really quickly. But monkey see, monkey do at this point.
Daniel Paul up there in that second and third groove. Easy on the throttle. Look at Chase Briscoe. He's already passed about 5 cars.
Wow, still the only one committed to that outside line. Earlier on, we saw Schrader and Stiers both trying to use that outside line, and it really wasn't helping them at all. Now Briscoe into the back end of Stiers. He gets all sorts of sideways through 3 and 4.
Briscoe just keeping that car so straight all the way around the racetrack. He'll pick off the 0 as Stiers set his sights on Steve Cote in the 29.
Meanwhile, it's Cameron checking out on Ranger right now. The battle is for the 3rd spot. Teach to the inside of Kyle Steckley. Give Teach the spot. Steckley back to 4th, and a good battle behind them between Lacroix and the 52 of Kenny Schrader.
Lacroix started back in the 13th position. He's been steadily marching towards the front of the field as Marc-Antoine Cameron with a half straightaway lead over Andrew Ranger.
Lacroix still the bottom of Schrader as they work off a corner number 2. Behind that, they've got Jason Hathaway, and then this 4-car fight, which sees Chase Briscoe make it 3 wide in corner 3. He's down to the inside, trying to poke his way by Caden Lapsevich. He'll take the spot. Here he is now down to the inside of the 31 of Daniel Bois.
I Wouldn't say he's making it look easy, but boy, oh boy, Chase Briscoe is showing his skill behind the wheel in that Renai number 1.
Works it off a corner 4. He's got the donuts now on this side of the car, just below that Renai sponsorship. On the Dave Jacobs number 1. Bois right behind him goes up the hill in corner 2. Caden Lapsovich will go by him as Briscoe now works on the back of the number 3 of Jason Hathaway.
17 laps in the books. Marc-Antoine Cameron, the leader. Andrew Ranger runs second. Donald Teach quietly having a great race in the 3rd spot. And Chase Briscoe well inside the top 10. And how about Jason Hathaway with no prior experience? Daniel Bois goes around in turn number 3, gets back on the gas. But Jason Hathaway, Stires goes around in turn number 2. That's going to draw a yellow flag with 19 laps complete.
That comes just in time for Brian Cathcart. Larry Jackson as the leaders were beginning to catch the back of the pack. Glenn Stires gets that GSR 0 turned around and in the right direction.
Open up by timing and scoring.
6 laps from the first break. Chase Briscoe's been making it entertaining. Been worth every penny so far.
I have to agree.
Up there behind Lacroix, Schrader, and Steckley now.
You can hear, even under yellow, as Stires drives down the front straightaway, how there is less and less traction for those general tires.
Even from practice this afternoon, they sounded really throaty, did they not? They were humming with all the grip. And you can see the shine on the racetrack right now. You have to wonder, and maybe we'll have Clint have a look at how that bottom lane's looking, because that's where everyone's been. Daniel Bois tried that outside line, but just couldn't make it work.
Larry Jackson in that 84 machine peels off onto pit lane. He'll take that car into Howie Scannell and the crew.
Well, Greg, here's your track report. We can't go on the track like we do with the sprint cars, but I'll get Jack to shoot it. It does have a bit of gloss up here, but it's still lots of bite. If you look right down here on the track level, Jack, you can see the treads are actually making impressions here on the clay down below still. So we are working on things down here. Jack's got some issues. We'll fix that, but the track looks fantastic. By far the tackiest track they've had in all the years they've been here, guys.
We can tell you what the problem is with Jack. He had about 15 pounds of Ohsweken clay on each of his shoes earlier on.
He had snowshoes on.
Larry Jackson back on track.
Amber Balkan, the lap before, had taken the Brimstone Games 99 to the pit area, so continued struggles there. Oh, I just noticed the apple fritter trucks over there.
Wow.
It's like glowing.
A beacon of light shines down.
I liked it better when it was on this side.
Good idea being on that side, though. There were people back there all day long. What an event. Fans
got a chance to meet some drivers at the Freestone Fan Zone at the start of the evening, and now these drivers are ready to get back at it.
Marc-Antoine Cameron, Pinty's restart zone with Andrew Ranger alongside. Ranger drives it deeper down into 1 and 2 than does the 96 of Cameron. Cameron able to sneak by on the bottom, but Ranger with a good run down the back straightaway.
Ranger pulls up alongside of Cameron. See if he can get the run off before he keeps it straighter. Cameron got a little bit sideways. He'll stay on the door.
It's the attitude of the race car, the angle he's able to pitch that car, and that's what Andrew Ranger's playing with right now. He learned a little bit there battling with Cameron. We are nearing the end of the first stage of this one. Kenny Schrader up to the 3rd spot. He's got Donald Teege alongside him.
And look who's right behind them inside the top 5 now. Chase Briscoe has worked his way back up very quickly through this field. He's to the inside of Teege.
How about Caden Lapsevich in the 32? He's battling with Kyle Steckley and Kevin Lacroix.
Briscoe down to the inside line. You see him, his hands working inside that cockpit, looking to get by the 80 machine.
Kenny Schrader to the inside of Andrew Ranger off at turn number 2. They'll drag race down the back straightaway.
Schrader in that APC Auto Parts Center Pennzoil 52 works it off of the 4th corner on the inside line. He'll pull past Ranger. And now Teege will try and make that inside line work.
Working lap number 25 into turn 3. Marc-Antoine Cameron with a sizable advantage over Ken Schrader. I believe they'll have the whole field go by, including Brian Cathcart, before they throw the yellow flag, unless something has changed.
And there it is.
The yellow flag is out for the first break of this race. Cameron holding up for the pace truck to catch him and pass him. They'll go side by side into turn number 1. Let's take another quick break. When we come back, it'll be time for stage 2.
I used to struggle with dandruff, but now I use Head & Shoulders every wash. Because the active ingredient in Head & Shoulders fights off the microbes that cause dandruff.
Where do you think you're going?
See? No flakes down here.
Make every wash count.
Welcome back to Ohsweken Speedway. We're in our first break, 25 laps into the Freestone Dirt Classic. Some cars taking advantage of the opportunity to pit. Kyle Steckley in the 22, the 80 of Donald Teege. Most cars went in the last lap. Donald Teege coming in this lap. Other drivers that headed for the pits, Trevor Monahan in the 4, Jason Hathaway in the 3. And I wonder, looking at the noses of these race cars, I wonder if any of those cars were in to get the grills cleared.
Yeah, that's something these teams haven't really had to deal with in the first 2 years of running this event, and especially running down by the wall. It gets soupy down there. There is a lot of moist clay, and if you're following anyone for any length of time, as we can see right now on the screen, look at Chase Briscoe, the front end of his car, and Caden Lapsevich in the 32, caked with mud right now, and that can play havoc.
No, it can for sure.
And these teams have to feel confident as well. Watching Chase Briscoe, how quickly he moved through the field. If you feel you have a good car, top 5 car, you know you can get back through here pretty quickly.
I think there's 3 or 4 drivers and cars that could drive through this field with confidence. Kenny Schrader, Chase Briscoe, probably Andrew Ranger, Cameron, but
well, one of the drivers that did go to the pits, Kyle Steckley, I think that's a car that could. He was up there challenging up in the top 3, and then it seemed like his car faded in the late part of that stage a little bit. Maybe he wanted to go in.
Looking at those cars that went in, their grills are absolutely clean, except for Steyer's. But everyone else, clearly part of what they did in the pits was clear off the front nose of those cars.
There's Daniel Bois back out.
Take you through a rundown of the order after 25 laps. It's the 96, Marc-Antoine Cameron, 52, Ken Schrader, 27, Andrew Ranger. And timing and scoring has not cut up because it's still got Donald Teague, so we're going to go by eyeball. Andrew Ranger, 3rd, Chase Briscoe, Caden Lapsevich, Kevin Lacroix, DJ Kennington, LP Dumoulin, Steve Cote, Larry Jackson, Trevor Monahan, Brian Cathcart, Glenn Steyers, Thomas Neveu in the 24, the 80 of Donald Teague, the 31 of Daniel Bois, and the 22 of Kyle Steckley, but I believe they will adjust the running order. Since Kyle Steckley was ahead of all those cars going into the pits, I believe he gets his spot ahead of all the cars who also pitted.
Would that be the same for Teague as well? He was up in the, what was he, 3rd or 4th?
Yeah, Teague was 4th.
Amber Balkins made her way back out along with Jason Hathaway, and Hathaway with the hood gone.
So the final count for the 50-50 draw, which I believe will be made at the next break, $3,147.50 to the winner.
That's a lot of apple fritters.
Delayed reaction.
Oh, you were laughing at that? Like, what's he laughing at? Here we go. Stage 2 about to begin. Cameron and Schrader now make up the front row.
To the Pinty's restart zone. Marc-Antoine Cameron gonna set the pace. Green flag is out. We're back underway.
Schrader working that outside line, but it's going to be Cameron working off the bottom. Schrader's got it wound up. Stays there just on the right rear quarter panel.
Schrader up high. They'll drag race off of turn number 4. Cameron with the advantage still. Andrew Ranger right on his rear deck lid as they race down into 1 and 2. The top 3 in that battle for the top spot.
Ranger now to the inside of Schrader. Right behind them is Chase Briscoe and Caden Lapsevich inside the top 5. Quietly having a good run here tonight in that GSR 32.
And I mean, Caden Lapsevich, how impressive is this? Never raced a car on dirt before. He's a crew chief these days with Venturini Motorsports. Tony Breidinger's car.
Was in a sprint car earlier tonight. And here he is riding in the 5th spot. But Caden, back in the early days when he was just a little fella, was good then. Became a NASCAR champion. No surprise to see him where he is right now. Talent's talent.
No, you're absolutely right. As Cameron continues to lead the way in that 96 machine, able to pace himself well ahead of the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Of course, he was involved in a crash in the last race at Riverside down in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Failed to finish. That was a tough day for him in the point standings.
Kyle Steckley, Donald Teach with their hands full trying to make progress towards the front, but it's hard to do it when they're stacked up 2 by 2 in front of them.
Well, a couple of exciting drivers. Glenn Stiers in the 0. Trevor Monahan in the 4 race side by side, just ahead of Kyle Steckley in the 22.
DJ Kennington right now riding just outside the top 5, trying to find his way as we watch Glenn Stiers now drifting up the track a little bit, and Kyle Steckley working to his inside. That 0 car is a handful right now, loose.
He just buzzed the outside wall in that 0 machine last time down the back straightaway. I don't know if the car is loose or if it's just the way Glenn's driving it. Caden Lapsevich has lost touch with the 1 of Chase Briscoe. Briscoe hounding the 52 of Kenny Schrader. And he'll take that 3rd spot over the veteran from Fenton, Missouri.
So far in our 3rd year of having the NASCAR Canada Series here at Ohsweken Speedway, there's always been that one rabbit that jumps out and is able to control the race. We're seeing it again tonight, but it's a different driver. It's Cameron right off the hop. He wanted to get by Briscoe, did so, and has commanded this race.
He really has, but Chase Briscoe is nearly there, up to that 3rd spot in that 1 machine. He's 1 restart away from being right on the back bumper of the 96.
Cameron completes lap 37 here of 100 in the Freestone Dirt Classic. 3 wide on the front stretch with Stiers, Dumoulin, and Cote. Right behind them are Steckley and Teej, who still have really not been able to make it very far.
I'm sure they expected to have a little easier time, but they've been mired behind some hard battling race car drivers. Brian Cathcart goes a lap down in the 98 machine.
Thomas Neveu would be the next one in line for Marc-Antoine Cameron as he comes off of corner number 4 to put 39 laps up on the scoreboard.
Jason Hathaway to the inside of Larry Jackson. Amber Balkan back out, many laps down though.
Here goes Teej getting by Dumoulin. Got a handful right now of that WeatherTech Dodge.
Cameron to the inside of Thomas Neveu, down into 3 and 4. So Neveu goes a lap down. He'll be in free pass position for quite some time. The next car ahead of race leader Marc-Antoine Cameron would be Daniel Blanc, the 31, because Amber Balkan is multiple laps down.
Leader off of corner 4, 42 laps now on the scoreboard. A lap car between he and Ranger and Briscoe.
Still the bottom lane is the predominant line out here, and I'm surprised by that. With all these cars pounding on it, these heavy stock cars, I would have thought it would start to slick over. Hasn't
been the case. Anyone that's ventured any higher has not found any success at this point.
So Marc-Antoine Camerand out in front. Larry Jackson would be the next car ahead of him to go a lap down. It's just over half a straightaway between Camerand and Larry Jackson, with Amber Balkan between them, and 5 laps to go to the midway break.
Steckley and Steyrs having a good battle right now. That's just inside the top 10.
Steyrs really letting that car roll around the center of the racetrack, tries to get back to the throttle and kicks it sideways.
The car looked like a handful a little earlier on, but he's knocked down some good laps right now. He's riding in the 9th spot right behind Kevin Lacroix, along with Steckley and the rookie Cote right behind them.
I'm surprised. Kevin Lacroix was marching forward a little bit earlier, and he's kind of stalled out there deep in the top 10.
Two NASCAR stars going at it. The legend Kenny Schrader on the outside of Chase Briscoe. Briscoe had been up in the 3rd spot, but Schrader slipped back by him.
Schrader up on the high side in the 52 as he found something up there.
Where else can you see one of the legends of the golden era of NASCAR compete with one of the young lions in an event like this? Pretty cool to watch these two go at it.
Look at our leaders. Marc-Antoine Camerand under attack from Andrew Ranger in the 27. We are 1 lap away from the midway point, and what was a huge lead for Camerand is just about evaporated.
Ranger gave him a shot on the back bumper there down to 3 last time.
We explain this now and then. These two cars look like teammates. They are not. They share the same sponsor. The teammates is the 27 with the 74. Those cars prepared out of the same shop.
Nope, Steyrs around, and I think that will put us under the caution flag.
Oh, lock it down, Glenn. I think the rear end's out of that car.
Just about to say that left rear just slipped out.
I was just about to say that too. Yeah, the left rear, something's gone awry in the back end of the 0 car there. I don't know if you can see it, but the left rear is poking way out of that fender more than it should, and that's the indication that we've got an issue here. Glenn may just choose to drive it back. We'll see if he can pull this one away or if he waits for the hook.
That's not just staggered, and it would be on the wrong side anyway.
Yeah. No, that'd be a trailing armor.
Man. Tough break for Glenn Steyrs, racing inside the top 10 here.
Just wanted to mention too, we got a report from our safety crew that a coil spring was in turn 2, Adam, and then we see this situation. I'm thinking when the rear end come apart here on the 0 car, might have lost a spring there up in turn 2, and that's what the debris is in turn 2 as they get him down here, get ready to hook him up.
Yep, we just saw it on the replay.
Absolutely right. So let's take advantage of that. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, it'll be the midway break. So the Freestone halfway leader goes to Marc-Antoine Camerand.
I used to struggle with dandruff, but now I use Head & Shoulders every wash because the active ingredient in Head & Shoulders fights off the microbes that cause dandruff.
Where do you think you're going?
See? No flakes down here.
Make every wash count.
welcome back to Ohsweken Speedway in the Freestone Dirt Classic. You direct your attention to the screen on the infield, unless you're watching at home or on the road or wherever you are. We got a pretty good look at this replay from what we're told. You see the sparks out of the zero car, so there were problems with that thing all the way from turn number 2. He's already spit a spring out of that. Never lifted though, Greg.
No, he didn't. Full sail in there and loops it around, and he had to pop the trunk there, as you can see, and lift that car away. But a good run comes to an end at the halfway point for the Ohsweken Flyer, running inside the top 10. Looked racy from the drop of the first green in practice tonight. Disappointing for Glenn, but team car still in the running here. And his teammate, Caden Lapsevich, took this opportunity to go to the pit area, so he'll restart deep in this one.
And I really wonder how much of that might be overheating related, or if you're Caden Lapsevich and you know that your car's no better than a 5th place car and you didn't come here to finish 5th, you go and work on it.
I think the crews are going to have a little bit more work to clean these cars than they have in the previous 2 years.
They might. Talking to Robin McCluskey about the trip out west, he expects they'll have to take these cars back to the shop. He's the crew chief for Marc-Antoine Cameron, and replace significant parts of the body.
The story changed there in the last few laps before we had that caution flag. Marc-Antoine Cameron had broken away for much of the first half of that race, but Andrew Ranger was on his back bumper by the time we got to this halfway point. Maybe showing this isn't all your race.
No, that was unique, and to see Cameron not go into the pits, like clearly that car slowed nearing the midway point of that, but they obviously still have confidence, and he's led so much of this race. But it gives us hope as fans that we're going to see a show. Jason Hathaway back on track with the hood off of that number 3.
With APC cars up there, Steckley and Schrader. Steckley's found himself back in the top 5 after stopping at the last break. See if DJ Kennington's got anything here in the last 50 laps. He's been awful quiet in that super clean 17. But that's kind of DJ's style in the middle part of this race, has been just keep it clean and be there at the end.
That's how DJ rolls. When the money's on the line, that's when we're gonna see what he's got to contend with. Mike Charret with the green flag in the air. Through the Pinty's restart zone they come. Marc-Antoine Cameron sets the pace down the front straightaway.
Ranger back at it. He's got some speed as they jump down into corner number 1. Look at Schrader hanging it on the outside line.
Schrader up high. It's time to flex. Chase Briscoe down low. Schrader up high. They battle side by side for the lead.
At the line is Cameron yet again. Ranger will tuck down in front of Chase Briscoe. Briscoe back there in the 3rd spot with Steckley on his back bumper. Briscoe got into the back bumper of Ranger.
He had a run on the bottom. Ranger was trying to keep the door shut, but any contact, you get a car sideways, they're not making forward progress anymore.
This is helping Schrader's cause on the outside line. Briscoe's had enough. He's into Ranger. He'll get by the 27 machine. Schrader gets by them both.
Let's see if Ranger cuts a left rear tire as he gets into the back of Chase Briscoe, and he gets into the back of Chase Briscoe.
Cameron, Schrader, Briscoe, Ranger right now. With Steckley back there in the 5th spot. All of this beating and banging is playing right into the hands of Cameron.
Kyle Steckley in that 22, already back up into the top 5. Kevin Lacroix right behind him.
Now that line that Ken Schrader's running right now, this is where we saw all the racing in the last couple of years. The line of cars would be on that outside, and this year no one's been able to make it work, but here Schrader's starting to find something.
He's not going to give up. There's lots of time left. Schrader's going to be up there searching for anything. But I'm dying to know what happened to Cameron before the midway break that allowed Ranger to close right in on him.
Briscoe and Schrader continue side by side. They've been doing that quite a bit here in the latter stages here. Right before the caution and now back at it here in the back half of this race. Briscoe's got breathing room on the bottom. Rangers dropped off from him a little bit.
Out in front, Cameron right to the bottom of the racetrack. He is glued to that inside wall once he gets into the corner, keeping that car as straight as possible. Fabulous battle for the 2nd spot.
Briscoe still finding the bite on the bottom, keeps that car oh so straight coming off the corners. Schrader working the outside line.
Schrader gets such a big run off the corners, but he's going so much farther than Chase Briscoe and Andrew Ranger. It's not quite paying off yet.
Rangers caught Briscoe. He's there on the back bumper again.
Schrader up high in the 52, while Briscoe in the 1, the 27 of Ranger hunt down on the bottom of the racetrack. Cameron turning a 21.085. He is almost half a second faster than Chase Briscoe.
Leader will start to see some slower traffic, but shouldn't be too hard for him to get through that. Briscoe, Ranger, and Schrader continue to be the best battle on the track right now. Tej and DJ Kennington a little bit deeper, having a good back and forth. And DJ's another driver that's trying to use the outside line.
Well, it's a matter of going somewhere where the rest of the cars are not. You stay in line with the cars in front of you, you're going to stay in line behind the cars in front of you. At least on the outside, you got a fighting chance as Marc-Antoine Cameron more than half a straightaway, nearly a full straightaway out in front. Chase Briscoe still so smooth on the bottom of the racetrack in that Renai Ford. Andrew Ranger behind him by about 4 car lengths. He'll drive it deep into turn number 3.
Cameron puts down lap 65, so 35 left to go here in the Freestone Dirt Classic. Cameron will get by Thomas Neveu down the backstretch as he heads into corner number 3. Briscoe just getting to 3 now. And then you see this battle right behind the Ranger and the 2 APC cars with Ken Schrader and Kyle Steckley.
So it's a good race to have a livery. Marc-Antoine Cameron first. Same look with Andrew Ranger in third, fourth and fifth. Two almost identical looking race cars with APC on them. Nobody able to, things have settled to a point where nobody's able to find a groove on the racetrack that'll give them any advantage. I mean, Marc-Antoine Cameron just lap after lap, taking the short way around and finding great success.
Steve Cote having a good run tonight. Eviram, number 29, up there in that 7th spot, right behind Lacroix, ahead of Donald Teach.
And that's the goal for all of them. Make it down to Everham victory lane at the end of this one. Somebody gonna celebrate. Right now it looks like Marc-Antoine Cameron is the driver on his way, as it'll be 30 laps to go this time.
The back bumper hanging there off Trevor Monahan's number 4. He and Dumoulin side by side.
That could be the next yellow flag.
It could. It's been hanging for a while, so it's still got some pretty good attachment going on the right side.
As soon as it falls enough to grab the racetrack.
Right there. I thought we were going to see it. There's Ranger, Schrader, and Steckley. This 3-car battle.
That's a battle for third. Having a look at time and scoring, a 21.330 for Cameron, a 21.6 for Chase Briscoe. So a quarter of a second a lap advantage right now for Cameron in that 96.
Well, guys, as Cameron comes up on the back of Larry Jackson, we got Sparks out of the back of the 84, so not sure what's going on with them. Leader will get by, but watch the back end of the Jackson 84, guys. Sparks as he makes his way around.
Yeah, there we see it off of 4. Maybe a similar problem to what Glenn had going. Yeah, the left, the rear end's gone.
The rear end is out of that 84 machine of Larry Jackson, and he's got to back that thing down because that'll cause a lot of damage.
Cameron safely behind, ahead of him, it's Chase Briscoe. Next in line behind Larry Jackson, who continues to ride this one out.
And the trouble is,
caution. Thomas Neveu was slow. I don't know if maybe he went around and missed it there, but
yeah, I'm not sure. But the trouble is Larry Jackson, so a track bar trailing arm is, or a mount is broken that locates the rear end. Because he's not used to racing on dirt, if this happened to him on a paved track, he would know exactly what had gone wrong, and he would park it, because you can really do some damage. Because it's a dirt track and he's not used to what he's feeling to begin with, he's probably not certain what's going on with that race car. That's where you need your spotter to step up. We got some debris on the racetrack. That's when you need your spotter or a crew chief to say, hey, we got a big problem.
does anyone have anything for Marc-Antoine Cameron? So good here tonight. Other than that one little spurt by Ranger on the last run before halfway, he's gone unchallenged. But guess who's behind him? The guy he gave a little bumper to earlier on and cut his tire, Chase Briscoe.
That happens quite a bit in our races. You know, someone you encountered early on in a race, and you encounter them again. I could be totally wrong, Greg, but Larry Jackson is about to have a catastrophic failure in that 84.
Yes.
If they don't get him off the track.
I will agree with you. It doesn't happen often.
Right? And it's not a NASCAR decision.
No.
Someone from that 84 group. Unlike our sprint cars earlier on tonight, these drivers have spotters, they have crew chiefs, they've got people that are in communication with them at all times.
$75 in, 25 to go. And I believe we have the 50-50 number. Do we know that? Do you have that?
I saw them coming up the stairs. I thought they were coming up to do the draw.
I have it. 1 to go. Should we wait? Next break?
No, you better do it now.
Better do it now. Winning 50-50, 267, 258, 267, 258, the winning 50-50 number. Again, 267, 258. You've won $3,147.50. 267, 258 on the 50-50.
Marc-Antoine Cameron bringing them up into the Pinty's restart zone. Chase Briscoe going to restart alongside. 24 laps to go. Kenny Schrader, high, wide, and handsome in the 52, comes off the corner with a big head of steam there, 3 wide for second.
Ranger to the inside of Briscoe. He's got bad feelings with him. Briscoe's got bad feelings with Cameron. And here's Schrader on the outside, minding his P's and Q's.
Wow, did Schrader just snooker these kids? Or is Cameron just going to drive away again in that 96 and leave them in his wake?
Schrader's making the outside line work better than anyone else has tonight. Many have tried, and right now Schrader's up to that second spot. Now Briscoe's going to follow in his tire tracks.
Briscoe heading up the racetrack. Couple of grooves being run. Look at all the drivers working the high side now. DJ Kennington, Daniel Block, Kenny Schrader, Briscoe running the middle of the track.
Schrader at the line in that second spot over Ranger, who's still committed to the inside line with Steckley. Lapsevich has worked his way up just outside of the top 5. Lacroix right behind him. Lacroix's been very quiet. He's been usually near the front in these events.
Yeah, generally is in that 74 machine, but right now just nobody can touch Marc-Antoine Cameron.
Cameron so smooth and steady, gets the horsepower right off the corners and pulls away. Ranger trying to keep pace.
You know, it's tough when Cameron is so good around the bottom, and the only place Ranger can run that even close is that same line around the bottom, but he just can't quite do it as well as the 96.
Chase Briscoe tried the outside line. He says enough of that, gets right back down to the bottom now, tucks in front of Kyle Steckley in the 22. Schrader still committed to the outside line, but Ranger and Cameron able to pull away now.
Whoa, Ranger all sorts of loose in turn number 2. Just about spun that car around, and Kenny Schrader closes the gap.
Cameron puts down lap 83. Schrader still working to the outside of Ranger. Steckley right behind Briscoe. Will he give him a little bump? Briscoe pulls ahead.
Briscoe is great under acceleration in that one machine off the corner. I believe Steckley a little bit quicker through the middle of the turns. Next time by, it'll be 15 laps to go.
Here comes Cameron off of corner number 4 to make it 15 to go as we watch Briscoe and Steckley. Briscoe goes back to the outside, trying to find anything he can at this point.
See if Andrew Ranger can close in like he did at the end of the first half of this one. Cameron has had his way. 21.158, 21.139 for Rangers. So nearly identical lap times for the top two.
Ken Schrader continuing to search around. He's low down in 2. Now he's back up high. Briscoe up there as well. Steckley committed to the bottom. Lapsevich pitted on that last break and has only been able to get up as far as the 6th position, rather.
Guys, watch the Briscoe line. He's pushing it right up to the outside lip like Schrader, but then he's really turning it down the track and trying to diamond and get the run out here. Was making some big runs on the 22.
Andrew Ranger is making his charge. He was 0.4 of a second faster that time than Marc-Antoine Camerand out in front. 11 laps to go this time as the 96 of Camerand leads the way through turn number 4.
Camerand with a couple of cars directly in front, but neither running in that line right close to the wall down to the inside. So hopefully he'll be able to get by them cleanly, but Rangers closing the gap.
Ranger has found something as he works it down with 10 laps to go. A couple of tenths of a second a lap, but he's letting that car drive in the corner absolutely straight, push up about half a lane, and then turn it back down the racetrack. In 3 and 4, even better on entry.
Look who's riding right outside of the leader. It's Larry Jackson with the Spark Show, continuing to trail out the rear end of that 84. Leader gets by cleanly.
Laps continue to wind down. Does Ranger have a rabbit in his hat in that 27? He gets to the inside of Larry Jackson. He'll make that pass. Then it's Thomas Neveu between himself and race leader Camerand.
Clear racetrack now. Next car would be Jason Hathaway. He's a good 20 car lengths ahead of the leader. Rangers closed it in a little bit more.
He drives it so deep into turn 3. That's where I noticed the most gain.
Little too deep that time in 1. He gathers it back up and gave away a little bit there.
That's the challenge, but he's had a couple of laps where he was 0.4 of a second quicker. He's only less than a second behind. So 2 laps in a row of that, he'll be right on the back bumper of Camerand.
Off of corner 2, Camerand, smooth and steady. What can Ranger do down in 3 this time? This is where he gains his ground.
Camerand picked up a half a second that last lap, so he's found something as well. He's found either he's doing what Ranger was doing to close in, or he's found his own bit of magic out there.
Kyle Steckley works by Chase Briscoe and gets the 4th spot away from him.
Camerand pulling away once again. Last 3 laps in a row, Camerand was faster than Ranger in the 27. As laps click away, it'll be 3 laps to go.
Hathaway to the outside of the leader. Camerand will dispose of him easily. And Ranger not able to draw up any closer to Camerand. Schrader all by himself right now in the 3rd spot. Steckley and Briscoe continuing to go at it for 4th.
Off of turn number 4, Camerand glued to the bottom. The GM Paille number 96, straight and true. Again, faster than Ranger. Ranger ran about 7 or 8 laps quicker than the race leader, but then Camerand picked up the pace and started laying down some good ones.
White flag this time by the starter stand for Marc-Antoine Camerand. Ranger a good distance back. This has been a dominating performance.
It absolutely has. Down the back straightaway for the final time. Marc-Antoine Camerand drives that car into turn number 3. The Freestone Dirt Classic 2024 goes to Marc-Antoine Camerand. second place to Andrew Ranger. Kenny Schrader comes home third, followed by Kyle Steckley, with Chase Briscoe rounding out the top 5. What a display for Marc-Antoine Cameron. They will head to Evram Victory Lane, where we will greet the top 3 on the concrete. I don't know if Cameron knows the way to Victory Lane.
I think he wants the checkered flag here, does he not?
It's possible. Second and third staged on the back straightaway. Andrew Ranger, Kenny Schrader. As Marc-Antoine Cameron does a victory lap, checkered flag in hand, he'll salute the fans in the back straightaway. On the back straightaway. Outside the back straightaway even.
He was eager to get to the lead early on. He used the bumper to get it and never really looked back. Ranger made a couple of little spurts here and there. Cameron, the class of the field.
The Evram flags going up in Victory Lane. They will flank the top 3. Andrew Ranger pulls that GM Paillet 27 to the front of the pad. Marc-Antoine Cameron, as the winner, will take the center of the pad. And then Kenny Schrader to the turn 4 end. A little bit of choreography goes on down there to make things look right. Clinton Jeffrey directing traffic. As here goes Cameron pulling into his spot, and boy, Greg, he earned it tonight.
That he did. Dominant performance. He'll take the wheel off, and I'm sure he broke a sweat, but he made it look easy tonight. Fast, smooth, steady. I don't think we saw him get the car sideways at all. If he did, it wasn't very often. Some precise driving in the inside line. It was the way to win it tonight, plain and simple.
I was shocked it didn't go away over the course of that race. Kenny Schrader going around to give congratulations and take a look at some of the rubber on these cars. And we'll head down to Evram Victory Lane to talk to the winner.
For the second time this season, Marc-Antoine Cameron, driver of the number 96, is victorious and scores the win. Another outstanding effort from Marc-Antoine Cameron. The celebration in Victory Lane. He was strong right at the start of the season. You got your first victory at CTMP, second win on the season. You're having a pretty good year.
Yeah, so far, thanks a lot to the GM Paillet, my crew. We have a tough weekend out east at Tensiganish, but what a way to to bring back the 96 on the victory lane. Thanks to my guys, crew chief.
Congratulations, Marc-Antoine Cameron, victorious here at Ohsweken.
What a show it was for those of you watching on the stream. That'll do it from here at Ohsweken Speedway. Thanks for tuning in.